Topics with Armando. Open Topics with Armando.
Yeah, good evening. I'm your host, Armando, and this is Open Topics, a special edition. Open Topics with Armando, the special edition. Hip hop scandals. So let's get to it. Hey, Randy Jean, how you doing? I'm chilling. So we're just talking about, I guess, what's going on in the current state of hip hop. I don't even know if it is considered hip hop because I just think it's gossip. So as you know, I guess talking about my West Coast peoples, um, it looks like that the rapper and I guess one of the hosts or former hosts, depending on how you see that person, by the name of 4Extra, over the weekend suffered an accident and lost 4 of his fingers due to a fireworks accident. So while there's a whole bunch of people trolling and saying that they went and they did malevolent things behind the scenes, I pray that 4Extra recovers, because when you play with fireworks, stuff like that is bound to happen. I mean, when it's when it's dealing with fireworks, back in the day, certain people actually lost their lives due to that, or they lost a couple of limbs with that. So you have to be very careful with fireworks. I pray that he has a speedy recovery, and I hope that this accident don't destroy that man's career. All right, so I'm back. In other news, I guess what a lot of people are saying now is that there's new rumors talking about, I guess, the Remy Papoose and Easy the Block Captain situation. I mean, it's like, technically, this is the ugliest beef ever. And then alongside that, I guess because of the beef that's happening, due to the trial of Remy Ma's son, she actually got into a confrontation with, I guess, the victim's family, and then she's arrested, I guess, for that confrontation. I don't know if how should I say, if fists were thrown or anything like that to warrant arrest, or is this disruption of whatsoever being in the courts. But other than that, I don't see if there was no fist thrown or whatsoever. I don't see the purpose of actually trying to arrest somebody over words. I mean, do words actually hurt that you have to be arrested? I mean, anybody could chime in. But then again, different countries, different you know, judicial systems. I mean, I'm just saying that for my listeners outside the U.S. Yeah. So let's just talk about 4Extra, right? I'm not going to go around and say that I have too much knowledge because I've never been to the West Coast. But, it's a very unfortunate incident that happened to 4Extra. And ever since, I guess, the passing of Nipsey or whatsoever, you have a lot of strange characters, mostly jumping to no jumper. First of all, after the passing, you've heard of Big U. You heard of Brick Baby, who's actually fighting his charges right now. Now, 4Extra, he actually lost his appendages due to the fireworks. So, it's a very crazy situation. Hey, I'm back. Yeah. How you doing, Alexander? How you doing, Don Jose? Yeah. That's good. Yo, how did you celebrate July 4th, Don Jose? I mean, with mine, it was good. Just had some grilling, had some nice steak, so can't complain about that. Oh yeah, you told me that. I mean, my 4th of July was good, you know. I just chilled with the family, ate some good steaks. And then on top of it, I have one beef with a lot of people. And this is what I'm saying. To me, I'm just going to be honest, and I'm not a law professional. I'm just saying this. When it comes to the feds and people of melanated skin, I mean, everybody was actually celebrating that Diddy was free or what the case, right? But yet the charges that he was found guilty of could carry, you know, the most 10 years. So people could say time off and all this stuff, but I'm not going to go around and really call it on what he's going to be sentenced with or anything, because I'm not a lawyer. I haven't studied criminal law, and people could talk about he might get off with this, that, and the third. unless you actually study the law books and everything like that, do not comment on that man's case. Because at the end of the day, people could say, oh yeah, he's only going to get like 3 or 4 years or time served or whatever. Or, with that Cassie video, he might get the whole book thrown at him or just get smacked with it. So, with that said, I can't really call it because we don't know what it is. And I guess through this case, Diddy is going to actually lose a good amount of his wealth with the lawyer fees, houses, this, that, and the third. So technically in the U.S., his money ain't going to be good. And then on top of it, let's just say that he does get off or whatsoever. I mean, when you're with the feds, or the feds are going to come and get you, they're going to come and get you. There's no if and about it. And they don't have the feds don't have a record of a 98% conviction rate because of nothing. I mean, the only people that I known, there's only one person that I knew that went up and beat the feds by himself. Shout out to Hocus 4-5. And shout out to Murder Inc. because they beat the feds. But when it comes to other cases or other people and everything like that, unless you have a good lawyer or unless you could prove that these people are actually trying to just put you in the slammer, the feds, they're going to go and try to have their way unless you could actually prove elsewise. So that's a hard thing to actually say because we don't know what type of more evidence the feds might have on Diddy. Because, okay, he might have, he might have beat the RICO charges. But if certain stuff comes out, talking about the passing of Tupac and other individuals, we don't know what's going to come up next. Because the feds, one thing I can tell you, they're relentless. I mean, shoot. It was the feds that actually shut down the mafia. And they're having a hard time shutting down certain orifices of the Russian mob because the Russian mob are too educated. And people ain't going to know who's part of the Russian mob unless they actually advertise it. I mean, a lot of people own properties and everything like that, and certain people are none the wiser. And then you have certain people who are, I guess, quote unquote gangsters. But yeah, they could actually fly under the radar and nobody knows who's who. So it's a very tricky time that we're actually living in, Don Jose. Yeah. But then again, what a lot of people are just asking, I guess, unwisely, is that a lot of people want to see the pictures of what the jurors saw, I guess, to make the decision in their cases. You know what? That's reaching, and I'm going to tell you why. Everybody's putting out these crazy narratives and everything like that. Just because that Trump used to go to parties, etc. Because white parties, they haven't really been publicized until Puffy got super rich, right? So we don't know the business dealings or if did he ever lived in Trump Towers or whatsoever, because during his amount of time of being the bad boy boss, Diddy has lived a lot of places. He has a mansion in Long Island, I guess the Hamptons. It is known that he actually has a condo somewhere in Manhattan. Then he has places in South Beach, Miami, places that he has residence, right? So, with that said, we don't know what Trump is going to do, or if Trump is even thinking about Diddy. Let's be honest. So that's a far fetch unless somebody's going to go and advocate for Diddy, which I think hardly people are going to actually do. I mean, if you actually look at it, Alexander, what we consider old hip hop, the old hip hop, I could actually say I was not really there for it, because the old hip hop actually started in the Bronx. And supposedly, like around 1986, what was the culture of hip hop went up and they got, sold out by corporate America in the year 1986. When I guess it was a commercial and so forth. So therefore, when you actually have a lot of contracts and people being screwed over and everything like that, it's not so much about the love. If you're not smart enough to know about the contracts or when you're getting signed. And one thing I gotta say is that when you see an artist that signed, everybody congratulates that person for signing with a big company, right? All I see is a person who's a label slave. I'm sorry to say, but it's true. That's why I say team independent is the way to go. But yet certain people are not teaching that. And then that's why we have the situation, what we call hip hop, and people getting screwed out of contracts still to this present day. Even more so with the 360 deal contracts. I'm not that geek to be an employee of the music industry. Not I. Salute, Herbie. How you doing?
What's going on? What's going on? You hear me?
No, yeah, I hear you.
Chilling.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, right? Everybody's talking about the Diddy situation. And most
Yeah.
of the people that I actually hear about talking about the Diddy situation and everything like that, I'm not gonna say this, but a lot of people don't know when it comes to federal law. And I'm not gonna go and say that I'm the best, but nine
hmm
times out of 10, you seen a whole bunch of people that are just talking about about a lot of nonsense that they do not have any background in law. You get what I'm trying to
hmm
say?
Yeah, or
So
they not,
that's
or they don't
that's what
read. Because
exactly. So
all you
if
gotta
I'm
do is
gonna
just go read the federal law. It's not like state law. Yeah. But I already know it was gonna be hard for them to prove that trafficking case on him. But I really thought he was gonna go get down on the RICO, and obviously he got hit with a prostitution charge.
yeah, but you see, this is one thing that a lot of people are not seeing, right? If the feds are gonna go around and get you, they're just gonna go around and have some time. Like for example, right? In the case of K Flock, right?
Yeah,
He was accused of the deletion, right?
yeah.
And then he said it was self defense. So it looked
Case
like that
Block
he
or
was
OT Osama
yeah.
over there in New York, right?
Yeah. So it looks like that they was going to actually release him. You know what I mean? But the feds, they went up and they picked up that case. So now he has to go around and fight the feds just to go around and see, okay, that this deletion was just self defense, then other than something that was I guess considered a gangland hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, he's asking for a pardon, trying to get a pardon by Trump.
I mean, to me is this, right? The way that things are going, like let's just say because Trump is gonna have his last day in office and I guess it'll be uh 2028, I believe.
Yeah.
So with that time, and then with Trump being who he is or whatsoever, right? Let's be honest. Trump may or may not pardon this guy.
Well,
But
did he?
then there might be somewhere that does because let's be honest. The reason why I think what why Diddy's in Shit's Creek is because of that stuff that he did with Chirac people. As soon as the
No.
Chirac people and he says that he wanted to sue and everything like that, boom, Cassie, boom, all these accusations, boom. So therefore, you don't know what those investigators for Chirac are actually giving the feds, and we might see a part two of the puppy situations.
You think so? You think so? But I mean,
Like,
like, you got
yeah,
double jeopardy. You got like double jeopardy. Like,
yeah, but
can't
they're
beat
gonna
him on
charge.
them.
Yeah, but they're gonna charge him on something else. They're not that might actually constitute a RICO. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? Because what a lot of people ain't seeing, you got the shooting, right? The ooting, right?
We're
You
shooting.
have, yeah. Then you have the accusations about
We're shoot. We're
about
shooting. We're shooting.
okay, as you know that there was an incident, right? That happened, I guess, in one of his studios that in Los Angeles. So one of the guys, I guess they had like Puffy was mad at them and everything like that. And lo and behold, this guy got popped in the leg, so to
Little
say.
Rod. The Little Rod
No, no,
lawsuit.
no. Those Lil Ron is the one that was telling the story. He was saying that somebody else who had like beef with Puffy got popped in the leg, and then they had to go around and lie, saying like, oh yeah, this person didn't do this, that, and the third, right? Allegedly. So if you actually look at the stuff that Puffy's been implicated in, as far as that and everything like that, and if it's not Cassie and it's other people, what makes you think? And a lot of people ain't seen this. You know why Weinstein's in jail right now? Is because of all the past stuff that he did, right? What makes you think they ain't gonna do the same thing to Diddy? And they're gonna even
Well, those
give
are all. Those could be like state charges. He probably can fight them, but he just beat it. But I don't think they federal charges.
actually it was federal court. Actually, it could be considered federal court. I mean, depending on how the severity is. You get what I'm trying to say? Depending if the feds actually come and pick it up. Because traditionally, the feds they only get into it if it's a serial deleter or somebody who is into trafficking, or somebody who's actually making
Yeah,
money off a criminal enterprise. So they
yeah,
might have so after a while, they might try to go and hit them with that next. Ain't gonna be like, oh, okay, we're gonna try a new strategy. So it's gonna be something that the feds are gonna actually pick up on Diddy for that we don't know. So I'm not gonna go around and be elating or doing anything just yet. Because if the feds are gonna get at you, they're gonna get at you. They're gonna get at you either with unpaid taxes, like Elliot Ness and all these other people did to Al Capone. They're gonna get at you if they're gonna get at you, and that's the history of the FBI.
yeah. But they got him. They convict him on something. They convict him on the prostitution thing, but I don't consider that to be
Yeah,
serious because they ain't gonna
but then
consider. But
again,
the most serious charges I would say that could have ruined Diddy, could have made him basically broke, finished him, was that RICO charge. And I don't know what else could you put on Diddy to destroy him other
yeah,
than the RICO charge. If you beat that,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how you still can fight. You can fight on. I mean, like you could get him on like taxes and other shit, but he can fight that and get a little slap on the wrist or 3 years, 4 years.
all right, but yeah, but I'm gonna educate you on something, right?
Yeah,
John Gotti, right?
yeah,
John Gotti went to trial for a lot of stuff until Rudy Giuliani went up and hit him with went up and used the RICO statute against
yeah,
him, right?
yeah.
So
And
he
Sam,
was going
and
into
Sammy,
trials back and forth. Yeah, he was
and
going
he was
back and
beating,
forth to trial
and
when
he
it
was
was
beating
either
them.
state or federal, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So if you really look at it, people could go around and fight all the charges, and you could be chilling or whatsoever. But if there's like something which is very damning that could actually get on the federal level, the prediction that I'm just gonna make is there's gonna be a part two Diddy trial, and the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of people that Diddy is connected with, right? So just watch and learn. That the feds they're gonna have something up their sleeve when it comes to Diddy. We might not see it now, But wait like maybe 4 or 6 years, it's gonna happen. I guarantee you that. If depending on how bad they sentence him and everything.
I guess I see. We'll see.
Yeah, like for example.
They need a good. They need some. They need a good witness because these witnesses they have for him, they weren't good witnesses. The thing about John Gotti, they had Sammy. Sammy knew all the bones was buried. He was the underboss.
Right. But
So
trust
unless
me.
they can fit somebody personal to Diddy, maybe his assistant, that KK chick, or that drug mule he had, or,
Yeah.
and he's done. But
Yeah, pretty much. Don Jose, how you doing tonight?
Jose was up.
Mm. Hello?
Jose.
Don Jose?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Sorry, just to
Yeah.
toss off a little bit. But you know, a lot of people love to talk about celebrities, and whenever they get into trouble, things like that. And of course, everyone's taking sides. Those who there are those who think that P Diddy should have been convicted, and then you have you have those who think he should have gotten everything. But it's just it's a bizarre world that we're living in.
Yep.
The next case would be Lil Durk.
I mean, I hate to say it, right? But something that I'm just gonna say this. I think that little Dirk is cooked.
I think he's cooked also.
Huh?
Definitely cooked. I think he is cooked.
I mean, it's pretty much that if Dirk would have moved in a nice right or whatever, or let karma take over whatsoever, or you reap what you sow took over, I think you won't have a case right now. But since the actions of King Vaughn went up and lost his life, and then how certain street organizations roll and everything like that. I mean, let's be honest. You could have kind of seen this coming. You get what I'm trying to say? I hate to say this, but when a person actually lose their friend or their comrade and everything like that, you know, certain things that have happened, and then to see how fast that they actually tied that to Dirk. They went up and they fastly tied that to Dirk, right? What makes you think that the feds ain't got like a whole ton of evidence that we don't know about? Because one thing about the United States justice system, they're not going to go around and display the evidence that they have in the world. They're just going to go around and bring it to you and quote like, bam, and there was OMG, and then you have to go around and try to fight all those other charges. So if you have like a guy that went up and allegedly snitched on Dirk to the feds and told him to hold map out and everything like that, it's going to be a miracle that Dirk is going to actually get out of this. Let's be real. It's like, for example, NBA YoungBoy. He got out of it. He might have served some prison time and whatsoever, but and he's living in Utah and he's not doing shows because of certain things that are actually set in place for him not to actually make money like that, right? But when it comes to like somebody that actually is telling your whole organization the breakdown of how certain stuff happened, I hate to say it, but Lil Durk is cooked. Like he doesn't have a fight in the matter, in my opinion. But then maybe I'm wrong.
Yep.
Yep.
I think it's going to happen. I think people are going to be looking and waiting to see who's going to be the next celebrity that has some trouble with the law.
A lot of people are booking that Jay-Z might be next.
Hmm.
No.
And there's a reason why people are saying that. If you really look at it, right, it's being alleged that all the stuff that's been going on with the Tory Lane case and how people are actually saying that Tory Lanez might get out and all this stuff. A lot of people are alleging that all that stuff that's been going on with Tory Lane was set up with, Rock with the Rock Nation management. I mean, ever since you seen a certain woman that was a snitch, which is actually confirmed with with drug cartels or whatsoever, right? I think her name is
Hmm.
Denise something. I'm not sure.
Desiree
Ever since
Perez. Desiree Perez.
Perez, right?
It's confirmed she got paper on her. This testify. She
Exactly.
locked up a bunch of people, including her
Exactly.
family members. Yeah.
Yeah. So think about it. If you look at all the stuff that's going on, right? People
Yeah.
people who mess with Rock Nation or whatsoever who go against Rock Nation and any or their artists any that they're managing or so, 9 times out of 10, they're getting locked up left and right.
Yeah.
And then now everybody's talking about the Fat Joe situation that he forced the man to be with that he forced the man and he actually seen Joe allegedly pay for BBLs for 15-year-olds and such. I was like, dag, for real?
Sound like they're trying to smoke signal a federal case.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then on top of it, what a lot of people don't understand is that a lot of these rappers, they might have security guards, but they're not official security guards. So if you don't have an official security guard that that they got their license and everything like that, they could actually lock up a lot of artists that claim to be hood on a separate boomer charge. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So that's how Prodigy got locked up because he had that thing on him, and the police wanted him to snitch on 50. Poe or Prodigy, how people either what they call him or whatever, he didn't snitch on 50. That's why 50 Cent always um in some shape or form always gives respect to Prodigy because at the end of the day, Prodigy could have done um 50 dirty, but Prodigy stuck to the street code. Where a lot of people who might be reputable or something like that didn't. So when you actually see the reality of certain stuff and certain people that like to go and throw that they're gonna get the authorities because their feelings get hurt or whatever the case, let's be for real. You're actually dealing with jokers. You get what I'm trying to say? You're dealing with people
Yes.
that you're dealing with people that that they got no moral base or whatsoever, and they'll do anything and everything to try to mess up your money. So with that thing, what I'm trying to actually say is that you're going to see a lot of individuals catch a whole bunch of cases just because of somebody being jealous or whatsoever. The only thing is, though, you have to go on and prove that you're not doing that. You're just doing what you got to do, and that's it. Certain people, they're gonna go and try to use whatever the case may be, or they might just use the reasoning that you might not be the right skin color according to quote unquote American society. So if you actually see what's going on and everything, and the laws that Trump is actually passing, which I guess will not be to our benefit. One thing that I'm going to say is it's going to be a bad awakening for certain people, and that's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
But Irby, what is your thing about you know I guess what's in your mind, what's going on with all the stuff. And I do know that in Florida, there's a lot of situations that are actually happening, quote unquote, in the street. I don't know where you at exactly, but for some reason on Swamp Stories, they love talking about Florida.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, the Channel Swamp Story, but they like to focus up there in North Florida, like Jacksonville, Gainesville,
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing a lot of. I'm like stuff that
with the
they
whole.
talking about that they
Because there's
talking
a
about.
lot of because there's a lot of drill rap over there with the Folio thing.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing them a lot of. And then on top of it, they're talking about Kodak Black and his situations or whatever.
Kodak is around Palm Beach or Boca Raton, some shit like that. Guilford Beach, some shit
Yeah.
around the Broward area.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying that he's actually repping Broward area. Me
Yeah,
personally, I
but
don't
people
like
up
Kodak
there,
Black's
people,
music.
hmm? but
I don't
people up
like
there
Kodak.
look up to up there. It's Florida in general, so they're just gonna look up to anybody that come out of Florida. They're gonna look up to the person. It's like for the longest, it was Ross, Trick Daddy, Trina. That came out of Florida. So they just put, but it's in one particular area in Florida. But the whole Florida gonna stand up for them until Plies don't come. And Plies was repping the Fort Myers, Jacksonville area, and whatever.
You know?
But the drill rapper is big over there in games in Jacksonville and all of that with Fulio and them.
Mhm.
Got killed. The people that killed them, they got convicted just not that long, couple of days ago.
Yeah.
What's going on, Gigi?
What's going on, Gigi?
I mean, if they get crazy here, they're gonna start putting RICO charges on them. One thing about Florida, they like locking people up. They're just gonna put RICO charges on them. It,
I mean, I
there's
mean,
a
the same, I mean the same
we
thing
got
with DC. I mean the same thing
Florida
with
got his
DC.
own, huh?
It's like in DC, right? Since it's like the District of Columbia, they people that get charged and stuff, they don't even go to the regular jail. They go to the feds right automatically.
Yeah, Florida got his own RICO. There's a state RICO in Florida. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. State Rico. That's harsh right there.
Now, they ain't playing. They just gonna start locking them up if they get crazy.
I mean, sure. My boy right now, he's about to get out, and there's a lot of stuff that's been going on, I guess, in North Florida because in North Florida itself, you got a lot of people, that they actually corrupt and such. So it's getting crazy.
Yeah, we even though we got more guns here, so it's a little.
Oh yeah, like one person I'm going to give a shout out to is shout out to Aggressive Defiance TV. They've been holding me down for a minute, so I'm going to always shout them out. And this is the aggressive Dominican right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Gigi.
See, the governor kicked the Tate brothers out of Florida.
I mean, shoot, like out here, we still have like a trash situation that the unions are actually fighting with the mayor, and the city is actually looking crappy.
Yeah, I heard LL wasn't going to perform because of that.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna drop down because I'm gonna be going live in about 30 minutes. So I
All
need to
right.
start.
Yeah.
So I'll see you guys later, and have a good night.
You too,
All
Don.
right, okay.
Take care.
Yep. I mean, think about it, Urban. If you actually look what's going on, right? With all these hip hop scandals and such, a lot of people are not actually looking at. We're just focusing on the U.S. because, hey, we're the U.S., right? But then there's a lot of scandals that's going on outside of the U.S., right? I mean, people getting divorced, people getting robbed, and everything like that. I mean, allegedly, which I'm not gonna name the culprit or whatever, but apparently they were saying that Dominican Dembo Cero or rapper by the name of Bolin 47, 47 is 47 for my English speaking listeners. They're saying that he got robbed, allegedly, in New York. And allegedly, a big underground rapper is actually responsible for him getting robbed. Now, when people are actually posting this other rapper's name on all the social media websites in Spanish or what so forth, I mean, people are just doing a lot of dumb stuff that are actually going to get the authorities to look into them. I mean, when people are actually saying all this stuff on social media websites on who got who and whatsoever, a lot of people don't understand that people could actually face RICO charges for that. I mean, look at the 6ix9ine situation. They robbed and they beat them up, and guess what happened? They're in jail, serving like 15 and 20 year sentences, right?
Yeah, law enforcement is gonna be is not that active, but if you keep their eyes on like the internet, they're gonna be reactive.
Yeah.
So most of the shit that they react to is seeing people just snitching on themselves on the internet.
Or people who are just talking too much and they don't know what the heck it is.
Like Keefe D. Keefe D, like, but he already done got away with it because I think he done snitched. He had immunity for some shit he done got caught with, but he kept on being on Vlad and being on other media outlets, just telling on himself. He got himself
Yeah.
caught up.
I'm like, and then on top of it, the Big U situation. I mean, if you got like Whack 100 telling everybody's business and everything like that, and then recently they just found out that he got like a badge on him or whatsoever. I guess saying that he is federally connected. I mean, I know that his ex-wife divorced him. I guess she was law enforcement or whatsoever. And I guess that's how she was getting the information on a lot of people. And now certain people are actually calling him Porky. I guess that's his nickname or whatever right now. And there's a lot of people who are actually want to actually do something to on Whack 100. And then, like maybe ever since the fallout between him and Big U, this guy has always been alluding to something for when it comes to Big U and everything like that. And then when you're talking on platforms about Big U's situation, and then try to recuse yourself and everything like that, I mean, it's like it's one form of self snitching. But then when you are so engulfed and getting clout that you saying anything and everything, and then you buy hi, I got you. I'm like, why the heck you even speaking on me, bro? If you think that you know anything about anything, one thing I'm gonna say is this for all the gangsters and people in the street organization, let's be honest. What does Whack 100 actually produce? I'm gonna stay silent about this one.
They'll say Blueface.
Now it goes further than that. We're just gonna talk about people who are, you know, who are actually award winners or something like that. Has he produced anybody like that? Let's be honest. And
Nope.
I hate to say this, but ever since certain people start messing with Whack 100, their careers went down. For example, the game, right? You have this guy as your manager. What's happening? Your career went down. Ray J didn't really even have a career, but he was making his stuff. He was making his money independently, right? But then all of a sudden, you have Whack 100, and then your career goes down.
Ray J, Whack 100 started managing Ray J when Ray J career was going downhill. He was in there at the height of Ray J's career.
I mean, but I'm just saying, if your career is going down, right? Why the heck you gonna go around and have somebody that's gonna go around and straight up murder it?
Yeah.
You got one drift. Then you have the game. So you have three artists that you managing that they're not up to the par what they're supposed to be. You get what I'm trying to say? I mean,
Yep.
You got Ray J, right? He could have been better. I mean, look at his sister Brandy. She may not be all that famous stuff, but she got where she's at, right? And then then you have the game, and then you have Blueface. So therefore, you have all these three guys that you're managing. And then on top of it, he's not actually being the best of managers, so to say. If I was Ray J and if I was Blueface, I'll cut that man off dead weight, and I'm going to tell you why. Because of Blueface dealing with Whack 100, right, and all the other charges and stuff like that. A manager is supposed to protect you, business wise, and also he has to protect you from yourself. What do you think Jermaine
But think
Dupri
about
did? What do you think
look
Jermaine
at that.
Dupri?
None of these people are big. Like he's not producing. Like he's not managing big time people. Look who's he playing. He's probably
Exactly.
managing.
So therefore, that's why a lot of people are not dealing with Whack 100 because Whack 100 in his mind, he thinks he's the next Suge Knight when the fact is he's not producing. And when you're not producing, that's why he does all the stupid stuff that he does. He's not a good producer of
He's
success.
not even he's not even like Jimmy Hinchman type of producer. At least Jimmy Hinchman had like big time was doing big time things with movies and TV show. I think he wants to be like the Jimmy Hinchman of LA, but it's not working for him. If you know who Jimmy Hinchman was,
Yeah, I can't stand Jimmy Henchman.
he was games manager.
Yeah, he was games manager in the beginning. Yes. But then he messed that up with with one part of getting revenge
Yeah.
because of Tony Ayo and or Lodi Mack went up and slapped
Yep.
up his son, and then now
Yep.
he's in jail.
Hmm.
So if you really think about it, it's a no bueno situation. And then on top of it, you got all these people here in the East Coast that actually believe the word, like what Whack 100 says is like the word of butter. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, right? But then when you talk to the big labels and everything like that, from what a lot of people are saying, they don't even respect that man. So I don't know, man.
Those big record labels don't want to deal with all of that nonsense anymore.
Yeah.
They're losing, these days, they're barely making any money. They're losing to independent streaming, all this
Hmm.
other stuff, AI. But the last thing they want is all of that drama shit.
Yep. And it's like, I don't know. When people are actually engulfed with all this stuff, I'm just gonna say one that actually prevents the the mumble untalented rap that we listen to today, right? There's two things. One of them is mumble rap, and the second thing is pe- people who are actually got successful of just saying nothing, right? I mean, let's put it like this: everybody they love Cardi B not because of her rapping skills, so to say. They just like her because of her ratchetness, right? So,
Yeah. And she's a,
but
I'm gonna give that, she's a little funny, a little charismatic, I'm gonna say, a little bit. Okay?
yeah,
Because it's
she
not,
was in the beginning.
not, yeah. I'm not just gonna, yeah, in the beginning, because I'm not just gonna say it's ratchet, because everybody that I love in hip hop, they all were ratchet, but they didn't have the
Yeah,
success
but
Cardi
yeah, yeah,
B.
but you see, I can't really tell you about Love and Hip Hop because I didn't really watch it. I went up and I actually stopped watching um reality TV when it was like the Real Housewives of Atlanta when I was with my ex, and there was another show, College Hill, right? Those are like the beginning of I guess the reality TV that I was exposed to. And then when I start seeing Love and Hip Hop Atlanta and all this other stuff, I'm not gonna go around and edify my mind with stupidness. Because when you actually have people who are actually edified with stupidness and stuff, and for people who are actually living in the ghetto and everything like that, or they're living in dire situations, they look up at these reality shows as okay, this is the way that I'm supposed to come up. This is the way that I'm supposed to do whatsoever. Not knowing when you actually do whatever, you doing all the fighting and all the ratchetness and stuff, just to sign another deal for you to say that you're a rapper. When the fact is you could actually get bilked out of all the money that you have and not own your own masters and everything. So people, they're actually thinking that they're gonna get famous just because they be on a reality show. And then let's say, as long as they're on that reality show, right? They what a lot of people don't understand is that okay, since that person is a reality TV star, now they could actually charge for like say if they go to a club anywhere, oh this is this and that so, and people are making their money off of that and then of social media posts, right? And then I'm going to tell you the truth. I didn't know that the Zeus network existed until maybe 2 or 3 years ago, right? And I still don't watch it because I think it's just a minstrel show.
Oh,
And I'm Afro Latino and I'm saying this. So
definitely,
so
it's
people,
definitely a minstrel show.
I mean,
Okay,
I'm saying it's a minstrel show because it actually makes black people look bad.
there's nothing but stereotypes in that show.
Thank you.
I was
And then
I was
and then
looking.
on top of and then on top of it, for people that actually go to the corporate world, we have to go around and perpetuate these stereotypes, so therefore we could actually get paid.
But the
Like once
problem,
enough is enough, man.
those girls on baddies, they're never gonna see a corporate world, not even a rap corporate world. So they're just getting at this moment, they're getting exploited off of people like those lemon pepper guy and all these people that just making millions off of them.
Yeah, yeah,
So they're not, it's like when all of these people used to come on Jerry Springer and maybe Maury, and Jerry and Maury just exploiting them.
yeah. It's just like all these other entities and stuff like that, and then everybody they want to, and then on top of it, one thing that I'm mad at, shout out to Amara La Negra. What I'm mad at is that now everybody wants to be on her business and whatsoever she does and everything. And I'm like, she could have been something more if she just didn't go the reality TV show route. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
understand her because she being here, she probably think any attention probably can be good. That's because she's inspiring. So
Right.
any attention could be good, but at some point she started getting involved in the ratchetness. But that's how
Yeah.
some people that's considered good, they may try to say, I'm gonna get into this, just for a name and some little attention, some little fame, some little clout, and they probably leave, but sometimes they just get sucked in it.
Yeah. And it's like even to the point that it's like, really, bro? Like you got people that they're not living their good potential, but yet you have to be damaged by the politics of these reality shows, whatever. And then on top of it is actually dumbing down people that actually think that they could actually be famous without etiquette or anything like that. Imagine going to the meeting and say, "Hey, what up, mother? You an N word and all this other stuff." You know what I'm trying to say? Like
Yep.
it's even to the point that certain people don't know how business works, how business etiquette is, and then they wonder what they get. Yeah, shout out to you, Helen. Yeah, good morning from good morning to you from the United States. I know it's night over here. So it's even to the point that certain people who I guess they will say that they're crashing out or whatsoever on the job, and we actually recording it and stuff. When you see certain people crash out and they don't know what they're in the corporate world or that they're in the job and they think it's appropriate, they're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get another job. Okay, and let's just say you crash out and then the employer wants to put charges on you. Guess what? They put charges on you and then you have to go to court for, let's just say, destruction of property or something stupid like that. You get what I'm trying to say? Because I'm just
Yep.
saying the worst case scenario, because they just might throw you out and they might not let you around the premises, right? But then certain people, they might just take it further. And certain people don't know what's going to happen to them when they go around and quote unquote crash out in the job setting. But yet, the reality TV shows are not going to go and show that. But then in work star hip hop, when you actually seeing people crash out on the job, or other people beating up people just because they're stealing and everything like that, just because they'll be just because they love their job so much. And then when they have a lawsuit in their hands and stuff, they wonder why they went so hard for a job that don't even care about them.
Yep.
Yep.
You can deal with real life.
Mm-hmm.
Could make you go to jail.
So, trust me. Trust me. In my last job, right? There was so much snitching going around, and it was perfect. And the thing is, though, you had a whole bunch of dudes, right? That they were found as chomo on the job. I ain't gonna go around and mention names, but they were found as chomo on the damn job, and they think that everything this guy was saying was gold. When the fact is, this guy was actually leading them to failure, or just copying stuff what my homie was saying. You get what I'm trying to say? So when my big homie was, I call him my big homie because that's how much I respect him, was putting me on to stuff, and I stopped talking to these idiots. Well, me and the chomo, before I found out he was a chomo, what the guy got mad about is that I had like a piece of pizza, right? And I told the guy, I'm not gonna go around, and he went up and asking me for a slice of pizza. You're supposed to be like a highfalutin supervisor or whatever, but yet you get mad at me just because I'm not gonna give you a piece of pizza. I told him I'm waiting for my friend, so therefore he could get a pizza, and then I could see what's after with you. You want to get mad and not talk to people? Okay. And then the next thing you know, I found out that info about him, about him being on the registry and everything. That tells you. And I was like, you know what? I'm glad that I'm not talking to him. And then when I got right there, I knew who to talk to. I talked to my homie. I didn't talk to him. I didn't ask him for nothing. But yeah, he was going around telling people, telling the high supervisors that he was not supposed to do this or that and the third, when I was actually trying to learn how to use the moverized pod jacks. You get what I'm trying to say? So therefore, when you actually have people who they think that they're empowering stuff, like Whack 100 and all these other nefarious people, you're gonna see a lot of stuff go down to the point which is not our benefit. I mean, every worst black stereotype is propagated by the reality shows, the hip hop industry. Oh yeah, and World Star Hip Hop. You get what I'm trying to say?
Mhm. Yeah, they all reinforce the stereotypes.
Yeah. And then on top of it, I don't know what is with some women. They're talking about high quality black men and stuff. Okay, so if a guy has an ambition and he's doing whatever he can, so therefore he can make himself. You know who's the first people to go and try to put that man down? Just take a guess.
Other black women, other black people, other black women.
Exactly. So let's put it like this. Women are more successful now and everything like that. You gotta have the nice charisma or anything like that. But if a woman sees that there's one thing that you're not good in or whatsoever, they'll try to go and make that man's life hell just because he doesn't fit to their status quo. So with that said, right? And then you have certain women who are mad just because guys who they're not even interested in, that they think that is low quality, are going to the overseas maybe they could become passport bros, or they might find a wife and bring them back there, and they might try to have like a nice, comfortable life. But yet, if a person's going around telling a man who's like in their 20s that to have like a 60, like a 7-figure income as soon as you came out of college and everything, that's actually unreasonable. Am I correct, Irby?
Yeah. But there's nobody in your 20s and 30s that's
And,
making that much.
and then the people, let's put it like this. The people who are actually went up and paid their dues and they're actors now, right? And they say,
Yeah.
oh, I was with the actors and everything like that. So why the heck you're not with them? Think about it. Why the heck why the heck a woman is talking about that she goes out with um, you know, basketball, baseball players. I'll just say athletes, right?
Yeah.
Athletes and celebrities, right? Why the heck you're not with them? And you say that's all you date. Why the heck you putting me down or putting I'm just saying me myself, but I'm saying you putting other men down just because they don't live to your unrealistic specifications of what you want in a person. I'm not going to say it's unrealistic, but if you're going to go and have this much here, but yet you still living like an O block or something like that, or you living like in the projects anywhere USA, why the heck you have high standards? I could the way that some of these women talk, you actually think that they actually living like in a nice house, maybe acres of land. They got like all the newest cars. They got horses on their lawn and stuff. They fly across helicopters, all of that. But then when they meet a man who has all that, and they talk about the aspirations and everything like that, a man is not going to go. You're beneath that man's level. Maybe in intelligence you are high in that level, but when it comes to like a whole bunch of how should I say, when it comes to currency whatsoever, you're not you don't have like the nearest stock option. So don't go around and diss a man who's trying to level up, because you might try to diss that man now, but maybe in 5 years when he progresses in his career, he might be the man that you want, but then after a while, he might not you be the man that don't want you. So with that said, instead of people trying to chase the so-called fame and lights, humble down. Try to see if a man has good qualities. And if he's a piece of crap, don't hang with him. But don't go around and generalize a whole race of people or have a preconceived notion of a person. And this is for men too, of a person just because of their past or whatsoever. Now,
Yep.
if a person have a past, yeah, and it's bad, okay, it's good to insure yourself. But if a guy's trying to go and try to go the narrative, and 9 times out of 10, as a black or a Hispanic man, you have all these stuff that's going against you. You might have your whole history. You might have a hater that don't like you just because you're living a life that's not good of theirs, right? You have certain people that that they see that you're shining and everything like that, and their first thing is like, okay, either I'm going to help him to the top and then I'm going to screw him, or I'm going to go around and try to screw him over right now, so therefore I could get all his power and stuff. And we know certain individuals in these YouTube streets that actually act like that, right, Irby? Irby?
Yeah. Oh, I'm here. My bad.
All
Go
right.
outside for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you were saying?
I was saying that you have a lot of people, in these YouTube streets, right? That they don't like your content or whatever, but yet they want to try to set you up with law enforcement just because you're doing certain stuff that, and you're not doing anything legal, but they will try to make a false allegation with law enforcement just because they don't like what you're talking about, or they think that their opinion matters. So even in these YouTube streets and everything like that, you gotta watch out for these idiots. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yep.
The haters.
Yeah. But it's more than hating when they but it's more hating when they're trying to actually try to get you locked up on false charges and you don't even live in the same state.
Or same country sometimes. Because I be seeing people outside the country be trying to dox people. I'm like, what?
Yeah. To me, that's crazy.
I don't know. There's a lot of weirdos that attract this app.
I mean, it's not just this app, it's every other app. I mean, think about it. You have certain people who actually been doxing ever since the MySpace days.
Huh.
But then again, when it was the MySpace days, it was not even considered doxing if you really if you really look at the old terminology. MySpace days, you had a whole bunch of people who were straight up hackers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Wow. So apparently, I guess it's going down in India, between India and Pakistan. It says that at least 26 people were deleted and 17 others wounded after boom men opened fire on a group of tourists in the Indian controlled Kashmir. The worst assault in years, targeting civilians in the restive region that has seen an anti India rebellion for more than 3 decades. Tuesday's attack took place in the picturesque town of Pahalgam in the Himalayan mountains, popular with Indian visitors. Police accused rebels of masterminding the attack, which sparked outrage and drew international condemnation, including from U.S. President Donald Trumpito. I'm just putting Trumpito right there for, anybody who's Latino can laugh. So, shoot. I was thinking like 2 years ago, hey, I'm going to go visit India and Pakistan. Not now. Well, at least northern India.
Now you got the Asian countries beefing now.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
You think?
Like China, Iran might get involved.
I mean, let's put it like this. India and China, they don't really have the best relations. They do, but they don't. But now, I guess because of conflicts and everything like that, territorial conflicts, India and China is not seeing eye to eye. And when it comes to politics, from what I've been hearing, they're saying that India and Vietnam might not be seeing a lot of stuff that's been going on. So it's getting crazy out here. Oh yeah, shout out to my homie Joey Nathan. I mean, shoot, you gotta go and show up on Historias Urbanas, bro. I'm like, we got like a lot of history that we could talk about, but then that's will be for another segment. Right now, we're just talking about hip hop controversies, and I guess we just segued into into international news. So, Irby,
Yeah.
one thing I gotta say is this: when it comes to, I guess the hip hop movement and everything like that, what more stuff that you think is going to come out after the Diddy situation? Who do you think they're going to come after next? And I could actually say it's going to be two contenders.
Oh,
Well, first of all, it's going to be 50. Let's be honest. He's going to accept somebody with that trolling. And
probably.
then and then it's going to be Jay-Z.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But don't you think you know who to troll?
50 don't care. And that's the problem. 50 Cent will actually troll Barack Obama if he had a chance.
Yeah, I get you. He doesn't care who he trolls.
So, I mean, shoot.
But he got a little dirt on him too, because I think a couple of years ago he put hands on his BM, the same BM that was involved in the Diddy shit.
Allegedly. Because
Yeah,
we're saying allegedly because
yeah, yeah.
anybody could go around and say that, and then if it's not true, 50 Cent will put $1 million lawsuit on your behind, and then you're gonna have and then you're gonna have a hard time to pay. And if you have children, they're gonna pay.
Yeah. No, 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 not the first one with his son, the big son. I'm talking about the
Yeah, yeah,
Daphne Joe.
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
I mean, it's allegedly, and
yeah.
Daphne, I'm sorry, but she's dumb. You know what I'm saying? Out of all the people you have like that you could go around and date, you went up and date Diddler, the one that your that the father of your child hates or have a beef with, and you think that he's gonna give more money than the guy that you know that you was dealing with? I mean, Daphne, you just dumb. I mean, let's keep it real. You like out of everybody, like what was the relation? Like what's the relationship that you actually said like, oh, I think that Diddy's a nice fellow. Okay, where you get what I'm trying to say? I mean, maybe in her mind, she actually thought that he actually think that Diddy great has a great connection with the Asian community because he dated Cassie. I'm just saying for real because we don't know how these celebrity circuits work, right? Like we might be getting the news that everybody's dating, right? We get the news, but they might have been in a relationship for like maybe 6 months or a year, and they just showing out. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Me, for example, when I started going out with my wife, my sister didn't even know until I actually showed up in a party with my lady. And then when you start seeing me and my lady actually showing up for more parties, et cetera, you get the thing like, yeah, like you with this girl? I'm like, yep. So sometimes you have certain people who are like in Hollywood that they ain't gonna let their business be known or not. Same thing, for example, for Nick Cannon, right?
Yep.
I mean, he let other men destroy his relationship with Mariah because they keep telling him what he was supposed to do or not do. Then he's divorced. Then he's divorced from Mariah, right? And now
Yeah.
he's got like 12 kids. He got 12 kids, and you could have made those 12 kids one woman. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that a woman's going to be down with that nowadays, but you get what I'm trying to say. Instead of having like 5 or 6 baby moms, right? Sometimes is an is inevitable because of the society that we're dealing with, right?
Mhm.
But when you see certain people hating on a man and a woman that have like a whole bunch of their kids together, right? And you always have somebody who's jealous or whatsoever. Stay away from those people because at the end of the day, and they're talking about how they live in a single life and everything like that, but yet you don't see them doing the right stuff. Just distance yourself from them. 9 times out of 10, they'll get the idea and they'll be like, yo, maybe I'm doing something wrong. But that ain't
Exactly.
always the case. What this is one thing that a lot of people need to understand. And I'm saying this for my Hispanic, my black people, and everything. Look at cultures outside the United States, right? Look how people are raised in a single household or not in a single household, right? And you see some of the same patterns that happen, right? Or
Yep.
or when you see certain people who actually hold their family down and they actually have standards and all the other stuff on how they're supposed to do it, like the togetherness of family, the respect of family, and everything like that. A lot of the stuff that you would see that is propagated in America, like in other countries, I'm saying like in Africa and the Caribbean, when they actually look at some of these shows, they don't think of it as a way of living. They just think of it as crappy comedy. You go and try to say you got certain people that might be infatuated and they think that's how life goes. But people that know better to actually have or maintain their families or whatsoever, they know this is not the way to go. And they're
Perhaps
and they're gonna and they're gonna go around and take care of their children. If a person say, "Oh yeah, this is my child," yeah, this is my child. You're not gonna go around and do this foolishness. And that's why you see that black people outside the United States they have more of a stronger family bond than certain people here that feel like they could go and kick their child out. I'm not saying all black people. I'm saying the ones who are responsible, right? That they could kick their own children out at 18 and such.
yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Hmm.
Like, you kick, hey, that happened when I was 18. My parents kicked me out, and look how I am. Yeah, you're passing down the same trait to your children. Okay, no more family cookouts, I guess. Or what people need to do if you want to go around and kick out your children and stuff, at least give them a plan. You know what I'm saying? At least give them that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Hmm.
At least
Yep.
teach them how to drive. Have them have a skill so they could actually fend for themselves. But people don't think about that and they wonder why certain stuff will be happening, not to their benefits.
This is where they get vulnerable to the people like the Diddy's of the world. Not just him, but other people. That's why I say the Diddy's of the world.
Yes.
Worse people.
Huh, you think? Yeah, so Irby, when you gonna go to the Dominican Republic, man? I mean, you live right next to Florida. You live right up in Florida. You could actually just hop on a boat, bro.
Oh no, I can't swim.
Okay, but at the same time, if you're in the cruise and stuff, they have all the
Oh, yeah.
amenities.
Oh. Well, I'm gonna need the passport. I gotta get a passport.
Not really. All you have to do is just stay on the boat. Now, if you get off of land, well, that's to be different. You need a passport. Yeah. But I had a friend that, well, God rest his soul. He didn't have a passport, right? But he was actually he actually was riding on the cruise ships and everything like that. But the thing is, though, when it was like a storm and stuff, he was just stuck in the boat because he didn't have a passport, and he was like around the area where Mexico is and such. I was like, "Dag, you should have got your passport, bro." I mean, one thing, one stuff that I'm gonna criticize. I haven't seen a rapper that got more tattoos and a crusty beard, but yet you're getting what, and then you're getting managed by Whack 100. Make that make sense. Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, man.
I think most of these rappers don't really have money anymore. Only like a few. Even the new rappers, especially the new rappers.
Yeah, I know, right?
The bulk of the wealth of these hip hop wealth come from people in the '90s. They come from the Russell Simmons or the Diddy's of the world.
I mean, if you actually look at Russell Simmons and everything like that, he did what he did for hip hop. But let's keep it real. He hasn't done a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real.
But you mean how does he not?
All right. Like for example, right? He might have done his stuff when it came as far as hip hop and whatsoever, right? But when you actually see certain people who are who they're actually making money or they made their money whatsoever, as far as whatsoever, if you really look at how Def Jam was made, they Def Jam had to pay like maybe 50% out of Universal, right? And then the other people will have to pay like 50 some odd percent for Universal. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like how should I say? A lot of people who are just making a lot of bad moves when it came to what we know as today as the rap industry. If you really look at the East Coast, and they were supposed to be the genesis of what is rap today, right? Russell Simmons, Dedler, Jay Z. If you look at all these three guys and how they got powerful and whatsoever, they did business backwards. What I say backwards is this: a lot of people do not give Master P the recognition that he has. You know what I'm saying? He could have been on his way on being the first billionaire if he just stuck to hip hop, right?
Mm.
Because all the stuff that that Master P had, he went up and he did it through distribution. Every time Def Jam had to make a album or whatever, everybody acts like okay, that Russell Simmons and Leora Cohen and so ever, that like they was the real bosses. But no, you had to pay like 50% distribution for Universal, and then whatever
Yeah,
joint
yeah, yeah,
that Jay Z had to
yeah,
make,
exactly.
and then Diddy had to do the same thing.
Yeah, with
Diddy only
Arista.
yeah. So Arista and now Columbia or Universal, right? Or Atlantic, depending on which companies that he went to.
And that's how
But
those artists is, because
hmm
they're paying 50%, right?
right.
In order for them, Jay Z, Diddy, and Russell Simmons that have the status that they have all of these multi millions or even billions, they gotta jerk off. They gotta rip off the
They're
artists.
artists.
Yeah.
So That's why I could actually say, and I'm from New York. I met Russell Simmons, right? You know, he was cool and whatsoever at the time. This is 2004. But when you actually see certain stuff that people are actually talking about, you know, you have Def Jam, and they were like, "Oh, he stepped down." So that means that the company, even though it was their name as they was the CEO and everything like that, they did their business backwards. Because if I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
then, I mean, he wasn't really the owner then.
you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Mhm.
And you had Jay Z, and then now you don't even know who the heck is running Jeff Jam. Def Jam is Def Jam. I don't know, but it's not really that profitable, and you don't see a lot of artists actually repping Def Jam like they used to. The same with Motown, right? Now Motown, allegedly, I don't know if it's true or not. Barry Gordy was he owned his own stuff, but he sold it just like
Yeah.
certain people sold BET. One thing that I don't understand. Why that and people's like, oh, they just having money. No, why the heck you gonna go around and sell something that's benefiting your people? Motown had good. Motown had their own stuff. The Hit Factory. They could have mixed it up better and all that stuff. You could have owned it.
Now you see,
You could have passed it down to your children and such, right?
yeah, exactly. Now you see, after he sold Motown, they went downhill. After BT was sold, they went downhill.
Thank you. And I feel the same way for the Zeus Network. As soon as they go around and sell it to certain people, it's gonna go downhill. And then what's gonna happen? So to say, to anybody that actually trying to make their own network. Think about it, Irby. I mean, I'm going to tell you the truth, which a lot of people don't know. Univision is owned by some of these, I forgot. I think it's NBC or something like that. No, 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 no. Univision is owned by somebody. I forgot. I think Telemundo. If I'm going to see something.
Telemundo is owned by the same people that own BT.
Let's see. Okay, so Telemundo is actually owned by
Viacom,
NBC, right?
Comcast,
Which is Comcast, right? And Univision, okay.
owned by certain people. I ain't gonna say the
Okay.
name.
Let's see, but I'm just trying to see. Okay, so they say that that's owned by Televisa Univision, which is a Mexican American media company headquartered in Miami and Mexico City that owns Spanish language broadcast network Univision and free to air channels in Mexico such as Las Estrellas, Canal 5, and Foro. But I was actually trying to see like who, like, because I thought it was like okay, somebody who actually owned Univision from America, but it looks like it's not. But this is what I'm trying to say. If you look at all the programs that was actually put on, as soon as it was revealed that NBC owns Telemundo, right? And you have certain people that actually watch Univision, right? If you actually look at all these channels, they could talk about Latin American issues or what's going on in Latin America, right? But it's gonna be very rare what we hear what's actually going on in Spain, right? And you have those certain people that we actually call the Hispanotypes that they want to praise Spain and everything like that. But why? But if you go to Spain, they will not. some of the people are not going to recognize who you are. They're just going to exploit you
That's
like they
like
do
going to
other people in the United States.
that's like going to Britain or France, thinking they're gonna accept.
I'm like, please. At least if I go to Britain and France, I'm a tourist, and I know, and I'm like, okay, if I go to Britain, I'm like, yo, which areas that I'm not supposed to go to? We're not talking about the hood areas. We're talking about the areas that people don't like me. So if I go to
And they
the areas that if I go to the
and they're
areas,
more and they're more progressive. That's another thing. A little progressive. I don't think Spain is still backwards.
and they say that the cities are progressive, right? It's the towns that are not, depending on who you are. Because J Rod, he actually was talking about when he was like an all pair up in Spain, and he actually felt certain racist stuff, and then he just went back to the Dominican Republic while he was chilling over there. So in Spain, you have certain people that they think that that their racial purity and the distortion of history is going to go good and everything. Where the Spain actually people's will actually tell you like, yo, y'all didn't do crap, so I don't see why the heck you love Spain for. I can understand if you got a Spaniard grandpa or something like that. You went to Spain every so often, and then you have a love for Spain. But you haven't really barely been there. Why the heck you claiming Spain? You know what I'm saying? It's like a it's like a slap in the face for all the people in Latin America that went up and fought against Spain, for you to go around and embrace people that actually they used to be subjugated against. The only thing the only thing that I could actually say that actually holds as in subjugation when it comes to language is that every time that in Latin America, which is under the Spanish College of America, like in the Spanish College, from what I was told, right, is that any change within the Spanish language has to go down to has go down in not only in Spain but in Latin America. In England, they don't have that because in America we develop our own language. In India, they actually develop their own English. In the West Indies, well, the ones that are not actually controlled by British people, they actually have their own language. So it's not the same scale as Spain to Latin America. And yeah, we have our dialects or whatever, but when it comes to proper Spanish or what's actually taught in schools, there's like a Spanish language college that actually makes the decision on what all Spanish is supposed to be. Nobody has that.
You think it's a little to do with some self hate involved in all this? Because you got a lot of self hating Black and Native American people here, but you think because Spain did a racial art hierarchy and the colorism is very strong over there, you think is that's the reason why they claim Spain? People in Latin America claim Spain, especially the light skinned ones, especially the
All
light
right,
skinned.
let's put it like this, right? I mean, I ain't never gonna go around and claim Spain. I know that I had ancestors from there, but what the heck I'm gonna be saying like in Spanish, right? You have certain people who have like maybe more Spanish ancestry. They always will refer to Spain as la madre patria. But yet, if my ancestors, the ones who are from Spain, right, and they were talking about la madre patria, right, or people who are actually subjugated under the British crown. That's my mother's side, right? If you're gonna go around and say that this, that, and the third, let's be serious. There's only like certain people who are actually were to be considered royal if they were in Latin America. So if Spanish people that didn't really know any better and were part of the Spanish crown and they dealt with it, and then you have certain people that they actually talk about and they romanticize what the Spanish crown was about when they actually never lived there. I mean, like the Spanish crown. No, I'm being serious. When the Latin American Revolution started, like over Latin America, right, was all over the 18th century. Nobody in the 19th century, right, knew what Spanish knew what the Spanish crown looked like, or never been under the subjugation. You know what I'm trying to say? The last damming was before 1900, right? That was when there was the Spanish American War. They lost all their territories, right? Which was at the time that they were only holding on to, which was Cuba and Puerto Rico. If you look at all the nations that went up and they fought up against Spain, right? It was all in the 19th century.
Yep. Spanish American War.
Like, for example, if you type in Latin American revolutions, right, against Spain, it all happened within a time frame of the 19th century, right? Think about it. By the mid 1820s, most of mainland Spanish America had achieved independence, with only Cuba and Puerto Rico remaining under the Spanish control until the late 19th century, right?
Yep.
So technically, the immediate trigger of the conflict was Napoleon's invasion of the Iberian Peninsula, Spain and Portugal in 1807 and 1808, right? And then you got people who are of the Creole elite and all the other people that was inspired by the American Revolution. So why is it that people wanted to be subjugated into a time period that they don't know of? And the Spain that they know of, which is today, is not even the Spanish crown that actually has absolute control. It's actually by parliamentary stuff. And during the
Mm-hmm.
1930s and such, it was friends like the 1930s until I guess 1975 or whatsoever. I'm just paraphrasing. It was ruled by Francisco Franco, a dictator that actually kicked out the Spanish royalty, and they were actually living in another place. The only reason why Spanish actually went back to like what is considered now a constitutional monarchy is when Franco passed away. He didn't go around and give that title to his children. He didn't give that title to anybody else, right? He gave it to a royalty, which I guess was the leading guy to be in the Spanish crown. And then I think it was Juan Carlos, if I'm not mistaken. And I think now it's his son who's the constitutional king of Spain. But you think Spanish people really care about that? On how these Hispanistas talk about, oh, the Spanish crown and everything like that. That's non-existent anymore, man.
Yeah. Is it these Hispano kids? Are they like white Latino or they're like mixed mulatto,
Some of them
mestizo?
are mixed, some of them are white, and some of them are just straight black, and they just want to cosplay as white because they have one mixture or something like that.
I don't. That maybe I could probably say maybe the white Latinos. Maybe that's the racist one. They probably can try to claim Spain, but I don't know from what I see. I know majority of Latin America is people of color, whether it be
Right.
mixed or black or
Right,
indigenous.
but then there's a mindset that they have.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So if you see certain people with that mindset or that colonial mindset or whatsoever, and then when you talk to them and there's certain stuff that they talk about and everything, if all the educated people came from Latin America and the school system was right, we will have less immigration here in the United States. But with certain people that didn't have an education or whatsoever, they come to the United States to find their opportunities and such. They will still have that classist stuff because that's what it was brought down by generation to generation.
Hmm.
Yeah, so you have certain people that do just look at you. I'm saying in my case, and they be talking bad in Spanish when they just look at me, right? But then when you go around and speak Spanish, it's like, oh crap, I didn't know soon. And then the next thing you know, they want to marry you. Now, for real though, case in point, right? I was I was walking to my former job one day, right? So I see like these two Spanish women walk running early in the morning. You know what I'm saying? There's an old Puerto Rican lady and her daughter, right? Who was thick. So I'm just there and I'm just chilling and whatsoever, right? Minding my business. Cause I chill out, I drink a coffee, and then I'll go inside to my job, right? Because there's like
Yeah.
a bench, because there was like a bench, which is not really located on my job, but it was like at a tire shop that anybody could sit on. So I'm just sitting there and I'm just drinking my coffee, right? The next thing you know, these ladies running around and stuff like that, doing their early mornings runs. So they talking Spanish and they was like, and they were telling me, and they were saying to themselves, like, oh, he look good or whatever. In Spanish, right? I ain't saying nothing. I'm gonna be alluding to like, okay, I'm the guy that don't I'm the guy that don't look like your typical Spanish person, right? But when they were talking and such, and I was like, the next thing you know, I just greeted them in Spanish. You know what the lady went up and said when I went up and I just started speaking Spanish to them?
What?
She was like, yo, here's my daughter. I'm like, I'll give you my daughter. I'm like, what? I was like, no, ma'am. I already got my girlfriend. I'm like, dang.
Crazy. So let me ask this question because there's two countries in Latin America is that don't speak Spanish is Brazil and Haiti. Do you consider them to be Latinos?
Well, okay. I can't really answer that because it's like this. They're Latino, but they're not Hispanic, right? Hispanic is the ones that were actually owned by Spain or whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
So in history, what people actually consider Haiti as Latino, other consider themselves West Indians. I didn't hear about the Latino thing about Haiti until like maybe a few years ago. But the reason why that South America consider Haiti as Latino is because Haitians they actually sent their fighters to go against the Spanish crown and help those nations with fighting off the Spanish crown. What
Yeah.
history don't tell you is that after some of these countries, these Latin countries, got the independence, I'm talking about the South American ones, they went up and they screwed over Haiti. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, thanks for the help, but we didn't do nothing. You get what I'm trying to say? But
Yeah.
in the old adage, I guess when it comes to South America or whatsoever, they are considered Latino because they helped with the movement historically, right? And they call Brazil Latino because there was actually, you know, a former colony of Brazil. And since Brazil and Spanish, they have some Portuguese, Spanish, not Portuguese and Spanish, right? They have some similarities in the words, but it's not the same language. They're actually considered Latino, but they're not considered Hispanic. Even though Portugal is in the Iberian Peninsula, they're not. They are Latino, but they're just not Hispanic. So
Yeah.
certain people won't think of them as Latino just because they don't speak Spanish. But then certain people don't know the historical context of why people are actually saying this. Because one day I remember it was like the Latin Grammy Awards, and there was a guy who was actually performing in Brazilian Portuguese, and I didn't understand a damn word he was saying. But yet he was in the awards. He was celebrated as being a Latino. So
The Brazilian audience understood him.
Yeah. But then the secret is you have a lot of people who are Brazilian that can speak perfect Spanish. Like for example, like there was a guy. His name is Wagner Moura, right? If anybody was ignorant, you actually think that he was that he's your typical Spanish dude. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he played the role of Pablo Escobar so good. Bye, Helen. He played the role of Pablo Escobar so good. You have certain people that actually thought that he was really from a Spanish country because he speaks Spanish so good. But then again, you have certain people who are like in the elite or who are educated in Spanish, so forth, that they could actually speak it and they could actually live in the Spanish lands or whatsoever because they're educated in Spanish. But you have certain people that they just don't know what to that they just don't know how to hang. So that's what it is. Yo, what'd you think about Dr. Umar and the situation with his daughter?
He's a deadbeat.
Huh?
He's a deadbeat.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
And he tried to use his daughter for try to drag his BM on the internet for content.
Yeah. I mean, he's actually referring to his daughter, to his daughter that he don't take care of, and the mother of his children as Smurfs.
That's pathetic.
You think?
Crazy.
I mean, let's be honest. This guy is when he's talking about that he's the one that's talking about putting black men in good positions and whatsoever. I don't believe you. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe a word what you say.
He's not good for leadership. If he can handle this situation with his daughter, why would you? How would you be in a good position of leading black men?
Now you understand my point.
Mhm.
He's a charlatan. Yeah.
He said he don't talk to both. That is crazy. That is just straight up deadbeat. You don't even. Well, it's not just one. Maybe some people might let him slide with one, but he don't talk to both of his baby mamas. Now the
So,
13-year-old, he has the one that's 13 allegedly. That person, that baby, she cannot go online and speak for herself. So it's only now the older one. Don't
yeah,
be surprised a couple.
the older one is 23 already.
Yeah,
The last time I heard is that that she's I hate to say that she's homeless, and she was asking people just to use the bathroom, so she could I'm like for her to be right there, you was a sub parent, man, and it's gonna make him look bad that he has to do something. He ain't gonna be for the benefit, but he's just gonna be like, okay, I'll give you money, just shut up. You know what I'm trying to say? It's gonna be that type of situation.
yeah.
Like you make me look bad out here. You better go and take this money. It's that type of situation. That's what I'll
Yep.
be feeling.
Mhm. I'm about to drop down. I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
me
in the
too.
chat.
I'm about to end this live. You got any last words Irby, before I close this?
Nice live. Just keep on pushing. Ignore all the haters.
Oh yeah, of course. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah. Peace, everyone.
Peace.
Like, share, comment, subscribe.
Yep. Well, that's it, folks. So tune in for Wednesday or any other day that I have a show. So we're going to talk about more of the martial arts and such, but which is open topics, Don with Don Armando, the martial arts edition. So stay tuned. Until then, be peaceful, stay sucker free, and just stay royalty free. You know what I mean? Royalty free, and don't let the negative points of hip hop ruin your mindset. Peace.